Welcome to bexbugoutsurvivor. I'm Bex, and today we're going to look at this bad boy here, the VIRTUS Bergen. It's one of the VIRTUS Bergen anyway, and there's a lot spoken about the VIRTUS Bergen, usually that it's junk, and a hell of a lot of them have come onto the open marketplace. That gives bushcrafters and wild campers, fishermen, a chance to get their hands on something like this, and I'll tell you what I think of it. I'll also tell you how it is compared to the British Army PLCE and whether or not I'm going to keep it. It's very different. It's very different. Let's get rid of some things floating about on the internet. There is this version which is akin to the longback. It's called the GU Bergen, and there's another one which is more like the old PLCE top loader, and that is called the Mark III, and it'll all say when you buy them current issue. They're all current issue, depends if you want a long back or a short back, and I'll shoot some differences at you in a minute. I think it's good to have a look around the outside of this pack before we go into all its nitty gritty features, and it's got a lot of features. Let's kick off by working from the top down. The top lid, it is nowhere near comparable to the PLCE if you have that Bergen, but it does have some interesting features if you want to keep your electronics dry and warm, because it's insulated, foam insulated. It's accessed on the back of the Bergen, if we count the back as the opposite of where the shoulder harness is. Now this portion here, I can slip something under here and something above here, because this section here is the foam insulator, so no YKK, but I'm reassured that Vision 5 zips are as tough as they need to be. If we come round to the other side of the Bergen, top lid, double zips, and here's its entry point here. So anything you put in the back here, you're going to keep nice and dry and warm. And even on this, it's not bitterly cold, it's cold enough day, I can pop my hand in there and my fingers feel nice and warm in there. But if I was to put my fingers in one side of the top lid Bergen here and my hand in the other side of the top lid Bergen, I could actually clasp my fingers on the other side like that. So get a mental picture of how that is for the top lid, and remember it's a lot smaller. Electronics, small gear, mapping gear, things like that, spare batteries. But if I did want to open and expand this top lid, I would need to open one of the zips and leave it open and stretch out the material, and I'll have a go at showing you now. So front and back of the top hood open, and push this material out like that, and now I've just got one decent size occupation of space in the top there. Now with the British Army PLCE Bergen, a lot of lads tailored on a basher pouch. With the GU Bergen, it comes with one hell of a size front pocket here, plenty big enough to stow your basher, your pegs, and all the line you need, the bungees, everything. So let's have a look at this compartment, which is on the front of the clamshell opening. So this is what I'm stowing my basher in. It's a good use of space. It has a row of ladder here for your molly, 4 rows by, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All 7 rows look usable, even on the corners here. A very, very small document pocket on the front here as well. It's a bit tight, So that is all I would put in it. The Velcro here, you can put your rank, your insignia or morale patch onto that, which leads us into this main chamber here, and it is cavernous and I have really good access to it. And as you can see, all this space I've got left over. Set of bungees in that bag, don't know how many I have. Cordage, length of. IPK stakes in the bag there. They're actually quite light alloy. And folded into mine is my MTP basher. And remember, this can be loose filled as well. So in a hurry, no folding or rolling, shove it all in. And I've put a ground mat in mine, very light, that's off the IPK also. Plenty of room for that. Plenty of room for 10 bungees or more. Plenty of room for your stakes. So far I haven't had any issues with the zippers. At first I thought they may have been a coil zip, which would have been really disappointing, but after a little research, it looks like these are number 10 Vision zips. This little pocket here is impressive. Underneath here is where I am stowing a roll. Quick release, and the straps for it are absolutely huge. So if I didn't have a roll pad, I'd obviously use this longer strap here. Roll it up. Get the elastic and stretch it over the wrap like that. Fold it back on itself. 3 access points for the GU. So this is the bottom access right here. Stuff sack of winter clothing for this bottom section here. This Bergen is great for anyone who likes a strappy Bergen, lots of straps, so you can hang things on the outside. It's also a great Bergen if you're a stuff sack kind of guy and you're Mr. Organised. But I am not Mr. Organised, I like a loose fill. So to the clamshell opening, I'll need to undo a couple of the side buttons and the top entry. And they are breakaway zipped, and it all folds open to get to the centre of your pack here. In the centre of mine is my sleeping bag in a dry sack and my Gore-Tex bivvy. Like I said, if you are Mr. Stuff Sack Man, Mr. OCD, Mr. Neat, boy, you're going to love this pack. On the inside of the clamshell, and it's plenty big enough to get your towel in and all your wash kit. Sleeping bag in stuff sack. Let's see how much additional room I have above here. I have the additional space for a cook set, and in mine I have my Jetboil Minimo. It's really chunky, a lot bigger than the Flash version I have. If it's just a weekend I'm going away, I will get a much bigger pot like this. Actually goes in stood up with room to spare. There's 2 fists high like that. I have that amount of space left over from here to here. Plenty for rations. Plenty of options here which bottle you choose for the top lid. 3 there, and it has this double entry snow collar. Now what you put in your top hood again is down to you. I keep my waterproofs in there, the Gore-Tex. It's a good place for me to keep the rainproofs pretty accessible once I take my pack off. Gore-Tex rain pants, large Gore-Tex smock, nice that one, nice and warm. And here's what I was saying about your double entry system. It has another snow collar here, so little to no damp transference, but once I've removed my wets, open it up, and I also have access, and I can use it like any other top loader. Now I can toddle up the outer snow collar and bring the lid over. It'll sit a lot flatter. Because of the half moon arc of this lower compartment, effectively these become inoperable, so I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 operational rows. Should be plenty. But above there is the helmet carry. It's on Velcro and rolls out. And connect the helmet carry into the top hood. There are multiple ways to do up your kit here. Now down the side of your Bergen is Molly as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 by 4 pals ladder for your Molly on either side. No number 5 vision zips on the side of these. These are tooth zips. These will be familiar because they look identical to the PLCE Bergen zips to put rocket pockets on. So PLCE side rocket pockets do not fit the Virtus Bergen, but they do their own version Virtus, which is 5 litre and 7.5 litre, and I think that's all you need. It's a lot better occupation of space, this Bergen, the way it all goes together. Right, pros and cons of this Bergen. A lot of these Bergens, whether it's the Mark III or the GU, are absolutely all over the internet now. They can't give them away. The lads in the forces do not like these Bergens, and if you read Army Rumours blog and everything, everyone says, well, I'm not using it, I am going to carry on using my PLCE, and that seems to be the consensus. So a lot of these are flooding the market. You can get one for about 80 quid, maybe 90, shop around. This is the GU version, which is akin to a long back, and it is a lot taller than the Mark III. A bit more strappy, but it does have the clamshell opening, the bottom opening, and the top loader opening access as well. The way this has been designed is in conjunction with the DWD system, dynamic weight distribution, which is a bionic back, a bionic spine. It's a tail of plastic, and it can move up and down into a little box, and you connect that box to this Bergen on the back. The tail exceeds the bottom of the Bergen and slips into a pouch on your webbing. So unlike the PLCE, so if that is the bottom of my PLCE, I'd have the side waist straps or hip belt at the same level. But with this extension bar coming down here, then onto a platform belt or your webbing, a lot lower down, it pushes the pack up your back, and that is what you are looking for a good ruck. And of course, it doesn't interfere with the webbing. After talking to some people, it seems that a lot of people haven't been given the DWD bionic backbone, as I call it. I've only heard of one guy on the blog who then was issued his DWD. He fitted it to his Bergen, and the little bottom of the bionic back slipped into his webbing belt, a specially designed webbing belt by Virtus, and you can pump it up and it goes up your back. And he says, yeah, I like it a lot, but trying to use this without the DWD, I think for some people can be challenging. This is the reason I got this, because of that bionic backbone. I just wanted to get all the individual parts. So I would need the Bergen, the DWD system, and also the battle belt, which has the little sleeve where the bottom of your bionic back sits in it, raises the Bergen up on a little switch, and your switch is kept here, and it moves the Bergen up your back or sits level with your hip belt, a bit like the PLCE. And I thought that would be great for me with my dodgy back, to have an extra bionic backbone. When it came to finding one, a DWD, dynamic weight distribution system, I couldn't find one. Virtus are ignoring my emails. The belt for it, or the webbing belt rather, I found one for about 50 quid, which I thought was pretty good, because this pack doesn't come with a hip belt. So I had to jerry rig something up, just using carabiners and whatever I could on an old Osprey hippo belt or a platform belt, and you know, it works. Now I can take the spine out of this pack altogether. It's better on my shoulders, better on my back. So first out is my clothing. I can access bivvy bag through it into the clamshell. The sleeping bag. Wet gear, which I usually keep in the top. The cook pot. And the roll pad. I have the shelter kit on the front there. And this is where your dynamic weight distribution box fits in. And I can actually slide my fingers under there, and I can pull the whole DWD insertion frame out of here. I've released all the Velcro. And out it comes. So this is what it looks like, your frame on the inside of the GU Virtus. Here's where you'd accept the actual DWD box into the here. The rod comes down the back, clicks into the back of your webbing, and like I said, you can use the hydraulic to lift up and down to set how high up or low down you want your Bergen. But I can't get hold of the actual DWD, so it's kind of pointless me having the back frame in mine if I haven't got the DWD box and spine for it. Without this, the pack is better to carry, it's lighter. I may as well remove it, make the Bergen lighter, and still carry my camp kit in. I've had it carrying better without the frame by not using the stuff sacks and just going loose fill. And that's what I was saying earlier, if you're going to loose fill, you may as well just get the Mark III. I'll usually just have a dry liner on the inside, where everything I want to keep dry goes into that dry liner. Some people will then individually put a pair of socks into something to keep them dry, like a plastic bag, then into the dry sack. I just kind of use the dry liner for everything. If you haven't got a dry liner, we spoke about it before on another episode, you can use your bivvy bag as a pack liner. Put your sleeping bag down the bottom. Obviously you kind of want to keep your clothes together. It'd be a good idea to have a secondary liner there, or dry sack, but that can go into your bivvy as well. So that's what I'm going to do now, is strip it all down, get rid of one of the stuff sacks and use a bivvy bag as a liner. With this one I've put the roll at the top and used the helmet carry into the corresponding top lid. Bivvy bag, rainproofs. I think that's my sleeping bag, I'm not too sure. Let's take everything out. Up with the lid and use the bivvy bag like a pack liner. A lot of lads prefer to put the sleeping bag in the bivvy, twizzle the air out, then into the bivvy. This is just the way I do it. It's the one part of the VIRTUS GU, the medium weight cold weather bag. This is the large, so it is 2.4 kilos for people over 6 foot or so. I just like the extra space because sometimes I put my boots down the bottom of the sleeping bag for the morning. I haven't got a lot to put in this pack other than my clothes and the sleeping bag and the bivvy. I'm going to close off the secondary snow hood and put my wet gear in the top here. If I had more of them dry sacks, I would obviously use the dry sacks because nobody wants to put wet rain gear on, but for expedience of filming I'm just doing it like this. And I still have a cook pot to put in, that should have gone in as well. See if I can get that little cook pot in down the bottom. No problem there. This space is where the helmet would go. This is all elasticated, so there's an opportunity to put something else in there. Side of the Bergen, a pocket. You can put whatever you want in there. It would hold the bottom of an axe or your trekking poles. So I have a strap sewn to here, comes across the Bergen from front to back where the shoulder harness is, comes through a clip here and doubles back on itself, there to there to there. And there are two buttons, one here and one lower down here, so I can choose to compress the lower compartment and get it a lot thinner where the sleeping bag is, or if I have a bulk in the centre I can click to here, and I can also click to the top lid. A secondary strap here also, and the corresponding QR connection there, so I can get the side of the Bergen compressed in the centre and at the bottom. And I can even use one of these to attach to the lid if I so desired. You notice I'm not pulling on the tension strap, but on the load strap. Only using the tension strap just to nip it up. There's my coffee in the other side. I think people have preconceived notions of what a bug out bag is. And that it's somehow a one-size-fits-all world where you're pigeonholed into doing it a certain way, and that certain way is usually other people's ways. I certainly wouldn't tell you what to put in your pack. You probably wouldn't need them, and I certainly don't need all the elements that other people have. As you can see here, shelter, insulation, a cook set, think that, and you're in rude health. You really are. You're well fed, you're dry and you're warm. What more do you want? Okay, better come to a close here with my conclusions. I want to be brief about this and I don't want any misunderstanding. Let's compare me carrying the standard issue PLCE with the VIRTUS GU. Which do I prefer? Marginally, this one. I would have preferred it with the DWD system, the hydraulic spine, and I just can't find the DWD. So that makes this particular pack not inoperable, but just not what I wanted. If that is all I am carrying, I'm not going to find a Bergen 3.5 kilos or 4.5 kilos to put just that in. I got about 1.5 kilos with the clothing, 2 kilos of 2.5 kilos of sleeping bag. I'm up to 5, 6 with the stove, 7 with the basher in a pack weighing 3.5 or 4.5 kilos in the PLC case. It's just not worth it. And if that's all I'm going to do, is just carry the basics in a pack like that, any pack would do. A pack half the weight of a Bergen, and I have one, and I absolutely have fallen in love with it. The pack I use, it's just 2.3 kilos, 90 litres, 210 rocket pockets. I'm up to 110. It has the ability to stow a sleeping bag on top as well, undersling the roll pad, so I still have an occupation available to me of 90 litres, and that is with the sleeping bag and the roll pad carried externally. You can see I don't need such a war machine to bug out with. Sometimes I'm throwing the pack over a wall or a fence to shortcut across a field. So I need a pack durable for that, but Bergens are generally tough enough to throw out of a C-130 helicopter or off the back of a transport unit and then just put into a Bergen dump with everyone's. That's what they're designed for. I'm not throwing mine out of a plane. Am I keeping it? I don't think I am. Sole reason I can't find the DWD system. Had I have found that system, I'd have kept it. But you know sod's law, don't you? As soon as I get rid of this, I'll find the hydraulic backbone for it. and if I keep it, I'll never find the hydraulic backbone for it. It's called Sod's Law, Beck's Law. It's a sod. It'll do the opposite of whatever I've decided. I'll probably in the end even get rid of my PLCE eventually. Like I said, it's one hell of a lump just to carry some basics, you know, your food, your shelter, your insulation, cook set. Too much pack for too little content. And some of the other content, like survival gear, I keep in the side pouches. But I think I might keep the PLCE because I have ideas to use it for an unconventional hiking pack. It's really unconventional. I haven't seen it read anywhere on a blog. I certainly haven't seen it on YouTube. And it's just one of them crazy ideas that's worked out nice for me. And I'll show you that coming up soon. Right, I'm going to wrap it up here. It's about 80 quid's worth of pack, maybe 90, shop around. 1,000 Kajura. The back frame I would take out if you haven't got the DWD. And you're only putting things like sleeping bags and clothing in. You're not going to need the frame. Mark III, much similar. It has the DWD frame. You can remove that, but it's a top loader. The lads in the army reckon this GU Bergen is a lot more uncomfortable than the PLCE. I don't find that at all. But I just really want to give you a good heads up on it. Until next time, you take good care of yourself, and I'll see you out there. Happy trails.